Hello, boxing fans. Welcome to an episode of World Championship Boxing. And today we are talking about some of the recent fights. And I'm joined once again by One Silva. How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, Logan. Good morning, fight fans. As we go over all the action from yesterday, and there was a ton of fights yesterday. And the most important, which we'll do last, Anthony Joshua's revenge victory over Andy Ruiz. And I got a lot to say about this fight, but we'll talk about that last. First, let's talk about some of the other action that happened yesterday. Brutal undercard. Oh, my God. Logan, you didn't miss anything. That Joshua Ruiz undercard was brutal. Dillian White coming off his alleged failed steroid test. He was exonerated yesterday morning before the fight. He definitely wasn't on steroids yesterday. He weighed 271 pounds. Looked like him and Andy Ruiz was training at Applebee's together. Fat fuck. He won a boring 10-round decision over Vach, who was one of the cab drivers that the Klitschko brothers beat up on. That fight was horrible.
In 2012.
Yeah. This guy's still a top 5 contender. Get the hell out of here. Horrible. Guy's a bum. And White, while he was quote-unquote rusty, as far as a heavyweight contender, White is done. White has no shot. He's already been knocked out by Joshua. Right? He's got no shot against Fury. Oh, and if Wilder hit him the way Vach was hit him last night, they would have carted him off on a stretcher like they did Dominic Brazil and Luis Ortiz. Get the fuck out of here. Right? Horrible fight. I'm not even going to continue talking about this fat fuck. Oh, you know what? Let's put him in the ring with Andy Ruiz. That'll be good. And the winner gets all the chicken McNuggets they want. Fuck out of here. Anyway, back. What else was on a very, very forgettable card out in Saudi Arabia, where I was shocked, Logan. It rained. It rained throughout the card, throughout the undercard. It rained. I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
God.
What happened to desert conditions?
Nah, man. It's God, dude. He doesn't like, Saudi Arabia.
God. Yeah, I mean, come on. This country, man. I was very upset that they had the fight here. I was upset that I saw Anthony Joshua, before they raised his hand, was raising two Sheik's hands. I know why he did it. Anthony Joshua pocketed $60 million yesterday. So if he would have lost, it would have been a nice way for him to go out on his career being set up for the rest of his life. Anyway, what else we had yesterday?
Wait,
on that?
I want to get something straight because someone asked me about this. This is $60 million on top of his Dawson deal, right?
Because of the agreement Saudi Arabia made with Eddie Hearn.
Wow. So, of course, that's why Eddie Hearn was like a kid in a candy store laughing about this deal.
He was laughing the entire and then when the fight was over, oh, my God, in the ring, you had Eddie Hearn, Joshua's father, and Joshua's woman. Oh, my God. You could tell even though she was covered up, she shot with a fat ass. Anyway, he was jumping up and down more than he was happy than they were. They were happy, but he was like, "Oh, my cash cow is back." But I digress.
Yeah.
What else was on the damn undercard was so forgettable. You had another. Oh, okay. Actually, there was a decent fight. And it was a robbery. Michael Hunter, a former cruiserweight who moved up to heavyweight and is a skillful heavyweight, went up against a 40-year-old former alphabet champion, former gold medalist, Alexander Povetkin. And in my opinion, outfought, outboxed, and just took the fight to Povetkin. And I had him winning 8 of the 12 rounds. Inexplicably, the fight was called a draw. Unbelievable. When they interviewed Hunter after the fight, he said he thought he won, but the judges, he was very classy. He thought he won the fight, but the judges did what they did. Povetkin, I thought it was a 50-50 fight. Motherfucker, you lost. So you know deep down inside in his heart, he lost the fight. Anyway, the fight was a draw. Povetkin's heavyweight career at 40. He's coming off with last year. Anthony Joshua almost put him in the hospital. He's looking for one more title shot. Wouldn't be a bad tune-up fight for Joshua rematch with Povetkin where he could finally put him out the pasture before he fights the winner of Wilder Series. So enough of that bullshit card. There was a couple other bad cards. Last night in the Barclays Center, Jamal Charlo defended his alphabet middleweight title, which he never earned because the real middleweight champion of the world is Canelo Alvarez. And I love Jamal Charlo. Love him. Tremendous fighter. One of the best young fighters out there today. He should fight Andrade, in my opinion. That would be a good fight between two excellent boxers. He fought a guy by the name of Dennis Hulk Hogan. That was a fucking brutal mismatch. He dropped him twice with left hooks. They stopped the fight in the 7th round. This was a total mismatch. Hogan coming off a narrow decision loss to Jaime Munguia. You see the difference between Munguia and Charlo. Munguia barely beat Hogan, and Hogan was able to run. Against Charlo, Hogan couldn't do anything. He couldn't even tie his sneakers. Got destroyed. Referee finally stopped the fight in the 7th round of a brutal one-sided beating. And that was the main event last night at the Barclays Center. And I refused to go to this fight because I saw it was a horrible, horrible card. Please. There was a decent fight between Iwasa and Tapanalis. Tapanalis finally took a beating, even though he was game. He took a brutal beating, and they finally stopped the fight in the 11th round. And then, what looked like it was going to be a decent fight, Logan, was the semifinal to the Charlo fight. Matt Korobov, who lost a very close decision to Charlo, against Chris Eubank Jr., the son of the great Chris Eubank. And the first round, Korobov fought beautifully. Took the first round. Landed combinations. Korobov, excellent boxer from Russia. Second round, while throwing a left cross, and I'm going to go on a tangent again. Tired of these motherfucking announcers calling a left cross or a right cross a straight punch. Bernstein, Jim Lampley, Andre Ward, Roy Jones Jr., Teddy Atlas. Those are the only ones consistently in the last 20 years that have called the punches what they are. The keys to victory for Korobov was to land that left cross. Well, in the second round, while throwing that straight left hand, he dislocated it, and the fight had to be stopped.
Yeah, that was
and unfortunate because Korobov was taking Eubank Jr. to school before he did that. Korobov has had bad luck. He's got tremendous talent, and he's in his mid-30s now. This is the type of injury that could end his career. I hope he could overcome this, but,
he's going to have to pull back on the force with which he throws that punch.
He's long in the tooth. At this age, at his advanced age, it's going to be damn near impossible. That you've probably seen the end of what looks like to be a promising career, but he had so much bad luck throughout his career. And so, now we go to last night's ESPN card for Mexico. 2 mismatches. Jerwin Ancajas destroyed Miguel Gonzalez. 6 rounds. They finally put him out the pasture. And one of the best action fighters on the planet, Emmanuel Navarette, who twice destroyed Isaac Dogboy. Dogby will never be the same again after those 2 beatings. We covered both fights on this fight recap show. I mean, he gave him the first time he beat him. Second time he beat him even worse. Well, he fought. This guy looked like he was stiff. Kid named Horta that I had never seen fight before, and this was a brutal. For 4 rounds, he just hit him at will. Finally, the referee stopped the fight late in the 4th round. Navarette retains his title, and that's the end of what was, to be honest with you, Logan, probably the least significant. Well, it's not the least significant because Joshua Ruiz was for most of the heavyweight titles, but the least amount of action we've had of all the fight recaps we've done the last 3 to 4 months.
These were not up to that level for sure.
There was not a single fight of the year candidate this week. But we see the emergence of Anthony Joshua, who, and great fighters throughout their career, learned from their losses. And Logan made a good point. People were like, oh, wow, Logan's predicting a second-round knockout by Ruiz. I know where he was coming from. because we have seen this over and over again in the history of boxing, that when a guy suffers a beating the way Joshua did at the hands of Ruiz in their first fight back in June, and then they come right back to fight, it's not a good sign. Remember Roy Jones Jr. back in 2004 got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, brutal one-punch knockout. Came back a few months later, 3-4 months later, fought Glenn Johnson and was almost killed. I mean, he was laid out in the canvas for 15 to 20 minutes. A brutal loss like the one Joshua suffered many a time, is the beginning of the end. You don't recover from that. A lot of fighters don't recover from that. And I said, Joshua was either going to be a better fighter or, like Logan said, never the same. I never much of Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a decent fighter. He's not a good fighter. He's not a great fighter. He's a decent fighter. 6 foot.
You know where he's awesome? Like, if you start brawling with him, he's going to get you.
Yeah, but if you're Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, or Anthony Joshua, he shouldn't stand a chance against any of those guys. Any of those guys, because they're long and they hit hard, especially Wilder and Joshua. Wilder's going to hit as soon as he wants to, because Ruiz doesn't move. He stands in front of you. In the first fight with Joshua dominated for the first 2.5 rounds. Dropped him in the third round with a devastating left hook. Joshua went after Ruiz and got caught on the top of his head, and his equilibrium was knocked off, and he suffered a concussion. Ruiz should have knocked him out in the 4th round. Joshua survived to the 7th round. Ruiz is not that good. He's decent. He's a fat fuck with fast hands. Wow.
Very
what can damn do? But he's okay. I heard all these so-called experts. Oh, Ruiz is going to destroy. Oh, Ruiz. He knows how to beat Joshua. He caught Joshua.
Yeah, he got lucky.
And he was able to stop him, but not 4 rounds later. I said, and my prediction was on the money. And I've been saying this for months, and it's on my man Garrett's Fight Game Media website. For all the guys that put their predictions down, the guys that went on this podcast, I hit the nail on the head. I said that Anthony Joshua was going to follow Lennox Lewis's game plan against David Tua. David Tua, one of the most dangerous punches in the history of boxing. The man had a left hook from hell. Lennox Lewis, you all know, his chin was the biggest weak link of his repertoire. His chin was never that sturdy. He stood outside and he used one of the greatest jabs in the history of boxing. Lennox Lewis had one of the greatest jabs in the history of the heavyweight division, top 5. Ali, Holmes, and Liston and Foreman, probably the only ones above Lennox Lewis in the history of the heavyweight division when it comes to the left jab. He stayed behind that jab and he shut out Tua. He never let Tua get inside. When Tua came close, he tied him up. Referee separated him. He stayed outside. And Tua was a midget. Tua was only 5'10". Lennox Lewis 6'5". Same type of difference in this fight. David Tua was built like a tank. Andy Ruiz was the Mexican Pillsbury Doughboy. I mean, he was 15 pounds heavier than the last time. He was 288 in June. He was 283 coming into last night's fight. And Joshua got rid of all the overt muscle that he had. And he still, even though he wasn't as swollen as he usually is, you see the physique to Anthony Joshua had last night? That's perfect for him. And still, in my opinion, that physique he had last night is still the greatest physique in the history of the heavyweight division. He looked like Lennox Lewis last night. And I said this when he came out the Olympics. I told everybody this. I said it several times on this podcast. Anthony Joshua, to me, could be the next Lennox Lewis. He has that type of style. He's got the best jab in the division. It's not even close. Nobody has a left jab today in the heavyweight division like Anthony. That jab was going through Ruiz's face like a battering ram.
I think this defeat made him a much better boxer, like you predicted.
Yes. Like I said, it's good. It's either going to make or break you. Great fighters learn from their losses. Canelo Alvarez became a better fighter after losing to Floyd Mayweather, okay? And after almost losing to Triple G. Both fights he learned, and he's got to the point where you can make an argument he's the best fighter in the world, and you can make an argument that he's possibly the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. He learned from his losses. Great Muhammad Ali, the first time he lost to Joe Frazier, he learned from his loss. Great fighters, Lennox Lewis, when he lost to Oliver McCall. He learned from his loss. He went and got Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart changed him from being a Deontay Wilder-type fighter to an Anthony Joshua-type fighter. Up until the point Lennox Lewis lost to Oliver McCall, he was pulling with that jab and trying to knock you out one shot because he had that type of power. Emmanuel Stewart got with him. Emmanuel Stewart said, look, you got a great left jab. Let's utilize it. Let's make this like Thomas Hearns. Like when I trained Thomas Hearns, let's make that the focal point of your offense. Everything comes off that jab. Lennox Lewis only lost one more time after that time, and that was because he didn't train against Hakeem Rockman in a rematch. He destroyed Rockman with one of the greatest left hook right cross combinations in the history of the sport. Stayed outside, and I gave Ruiz one round. It was all Joshua. And Ruiz just stood there, looked like, oh, I'm going to get this guy tied. How are you going to try to get somebody tied when you're 283 fucking pounds? Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, well, by your logic, then, you're saying that this Anthony Joshua is going to beat Deontay Wilder.
He has the style to beat Deontay Wilder. And I've been saying this for years. If he uses that style, I only got one issue. There's one issue. Deontay Wilder has that right hand. You thought you see Joshua has a bad tendency, and he did it last night, of trying to tie you up going face first. Wilder times him, and Joshua will spend the night in whatever emergency room they have in that city that they fight in. That's a flaw that he's got to correct. He's still got that flaw where, it's when Joshua got tired, Joshua go face first and tie him up. Ruiz is not the puncher Deontay Wilder is. Deontay Wilder times that, and it's a wrap. I think Joshua can easily outbox Fury because of that jab. Fury has a decent jab, a good jab. Joshua has a great jab. Joshua and Wilder are the same height, 6'6", 6'7". He has a better jab than Wilder. He's a better boxer than Wilder. He's a better fighter than Wilder. But Wilder's got that wild card. Wilder could lose. Wilder could lose the first 10 rounds, and Joshua tied Joshua was tied again last night. 11th round, Wilder lands the right hand, is a wrap. For Joshua to beat Wilder, he's got to even be better than he was last night, which should be said because Wilder's a much better fighter than Ruiz.
I think Wilder has a bigger reach than Joshua.
You might be right because it might be an inch or two. Wilder might be 84, 85 inches. I know Joshua's 83 inches. I'll look it up, but that's not saying much because Wilder's jab he's just pouring. He's just pouring with that jab. While Joshua's going to go through your face with that jab, and he will land that jab all night against Wilder, and Wilder's proven already that he's got a better chin than Joshua. So,
every time Joshua tried to go for the kill on Ruiz would get him with a few good shots. So
and then Joshua would back off and go back to the fight plan. Yes.
But you saw that, right? It was
that was the only way Ruiz could have won, and Joshua realized that because Joshua landed some hellacious right crosses throughout that fight. And every time he did, Ruiz would try to come back, and then Joshua would tie him up and then go back to the outside. Realize, wait a minute. Let me settle down. Let me just win the decision. Let me not try that. And he's going to he has to be even more careful when he fights Wilder, if and when they do fight. Because Wilder has to beat Fury, and that fight, in my opinion, is still a 50-50 fight because Fury is going to try to do like he did the first fight, bore us to death to win a decision, which, you know what? If he can get the win that way, go ahead. He almost got the win the first time, except he got caught twice and got knocked down twice.
Yeah, Wilder's he'll get you inside that 12 rounds with that right hand at least once, and if he gets you good.
And there's going to be a time. I can't see Joshua going 12 rounds not getting hurt at least one time against Wilder. It's how he's going to react. Is he going to be able to tie up? Is he able? And there is a way for him to survive because if he doesn't go down, if he gets hurt, Wilder doesn't go to the body. Joshua could cover up and tie him up and try to clear his head. But if he gets caught with the right shot, he's not getting up.
So what rounds did you give Ruiz?
I gave him the 8th round. That was the one round where he landed like 6 good power shots towards the round. And that was it. In the ninth round, he landed a nice combination at the end, but he had lost the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the round. And then after that, it was over. Rounds 10, 11, and 12, it was batting practice for Joshua, as Ruiz was totally blown up.
So if you were Ruiz's trainer, what would you have told him to do differently?
He didn't go to the body. He got the faster hand. He didn't go to – you can't beat a guy like Anthony Joshua by following him around the ring. He didn't throw his jab. His jab was not – the two most important ingredients to being a world championship fighter and to beat a world-class future Hall of Fame fighter is go to jab and go to the body. He did not do that against a guy much taller than you. He followed him around. He was hoping I should try to land that one right hand like I did the first fight, hurt him and then knock him out. You can't win you ain't Deontay Wilder.
Well, no, actually, but I was thinking he was trying to get him into a brawl and then take a few punches.
It wasn't happening. It wasn't happening.
Right.
I don't know what his trainer was doing. Everything you saw, I saw it a mile away. If I could see it in Harlem, you should be able to see it if you're in the ring with the guy. That this guy was going to box on the outside. This guy is longer. He's got a much longer reach. He's in better shape. You got to go to the body. Joshua's the two weakest links of Joshua's repertoire is his chin and his stamina. Neither one came into effect last night.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, he looked very nervous coming to the ring. I thought it was concerned that he lost.
Like I said, his career, in the article, the first thing I said, Joshua's career and legacy was on the line last night. He loses. All right, he's got a boatload of money. He never has to fight again. But his legacy, which is the most important for a fighter, for a guy that was heavyweight champion of the world, the legacy, it was on the line. He knew. That's why he came in the ring nervous. That's why he came in the ring by himself. He's just focused on the fight. And a lot of times, Logan, being nervous is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Right.
Because he
was very careful.
Look at the entire fight, Joshua kept his eyes on Ruiz the entire fight. I love that.
Yep.
I love that. So even when he got hit, he was bracing himself. When you see a fighter fight like that, he ain't gonna lose.
Right. Yeah, he was determined, and he kept that game plan, and he didn't take the bait to brawl. But whenever he did get caught, and I was thinking, man, if Deontay Wilder catches him with some of those shots,
there you go. The way he clinches, he's not protecting himself. He's bringing his arms around like he's trying to hug you, and right then and there, Wilder lands that right hand right down the pipe. It's over. They've got to correct that flaw, and if you're fans out there, if you're a big Anthony Joshua fan, find a way to get this to him or his trainer. Tell him what I said. Right? So-called experts. Right. By the way, Timothy Bradley on Friday night was on Max Kellerman's Max on Boxing show on ESPN and said the exact opposite of what I said. He said Josh was going to win, but the only way Joshua could win by knockout. If the fight went to this distance, Ruiz would win because he's the better boxer. Shut the fuck up, Tim Bradley. Get the fuck out of here.
My God. That was a bad take on that one.
My God!
He didn't win the first fight because he was a better boxer. He fought because he was a better brawler.
Because he was a better brawler. Because he fought inside. And he's the shorter, quicker dude inside.
He's very explosive inside, but
yeah. The only way he could have won was to be inside. It wasn't happening. Joshua has a race to defeat. But it's always going to linger there. He's an exciting fighter because there's always the element of doubt with his chin and his stamina. So watching the Joshua fight, and he's got one-punch power. So watching the Joshua fight, you're like, damn. Anything can happen in the Joshua fight. He's this generation's version of Lennox Lewis. Not as good yet as Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is still a greater fighter all time. We got to see Joshua to be put on the level of Lennox Lewis. Has to beat Wilder and Fury. That's it. He's got to beat those guys.
Who's Wilder's modeled on in terms of heavyweights from the past?
He's not model. I think
He's
Deontay
new.
Deontay Wilder's trainer is Mark Breland. Mark Breland was a Tommy Hearns type fighter in the amateurs. Mark Breland is the greatest amateur in the history of American boxing. He won 5 Golden Gloves. He was a 1984 Olympic gold medalist. In over 200 amateur fights, Logan, he lost 1 fight as an amateur boxer. He had a great jab and a tremendous right hand. When he became a pro, what did Mark Breland in was the same things that did Anthony Joshua in at the first fight. Mark Breland did not take a great punch, and after the 6th or 7th round, if he didn't get you out there, he was winded, and he would get knocked out late in the fight. I think Deontay Wilder, whose trainer is Mark Breland, that Mark Breland sees a much taller heavyweight version of himself. Mark Breland was a 6'2" welterweight. Deontay Wilder 6'7" heavyweight. And when I first saw Wilder, when Wilder was first coming up, being trained by Breland, Wilder's jab was good. Wilder had a good jab coming up. He put it away. He put it in mothballs. You don't see it anymore. He paused with that shit. And he's not listening to Breland. I know Breland's trying to tell him, look, we got to work on the jab. But Wilder's like, I don't need a jab. My right hand will do whatever I need to do. But he's been lucky.
He's going to need it.
He's going to need to beat Joshua. He's going to need it. He just can't follow Joshua
and to beat Fury.
Yeah, and he almost lost to Fury without a jab.
Right. He needs it.
He needs it. He needs it. They got to work on that. That's what. But Wilder is the heavyweight version of Mark Breland with a better chin and better stamina, because Wilder has tremendous stamina, as seen in his fight with Fury. He came on strong at the end, even almost killed Fury in the 12th and final round.
Yeah, his first fight with Ortiz, he came back from.
Yeah, he came back. Ortiz was winded. Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, Deontay Wilder is a question mark because up until Tyson Fury, what was his real competition, really?
Of all 3 heavyweights that are at the top of the food chain, Joshua's had the best opposition and the toughest opposition.
Right. It feels like that.
Yeah, because Joshua has knocked out Klitschko, knocked out Dillian White, knocked out Povetkin. I mean, the best fighters Wilder fought was Ortiz and Fury, and the best guys Fury fought were Klitschko and Wilder. I would say Joshua has the better resume. And got to put Ruiz in that conversation too, as far as Anthony Joshua. He avenged the only loss of his career. So right now, if you want to look at resumes, Joshua has the best of the 3.
So you think that this fight's going to happen, right? The winner.
Wilder and Fury have signed for the rematch February 22nd. And the winner of that fight has no choice. I don't give a fuck who out there is out there. There's only one fight to be made. After the winner of that fight has to fight Anthony Joshua. If I was Anthony Joshua, I wouldn't fight anybody else. Fuck it, you want to?
No way.
Take my titles. Take my titles. You don't need them fucking titles, Anthony Joshua. You need to beat the man that beat the man that beat the man. All right? Fuck the WBA, the WBC, the ABC, the XYZ. Fuck those belts. There's only 3 heavyweights right now that we're talking about, right? These 3 have to fight each other. Wilder Fury winner should fight Joshua. Fuck the promoters, fuck the networks, and fuck the ABC sanctioning bodies.
Well, hopefully that'll happen, but there's no guarantees with boxing, so we might never see that fight.
Joshua Wilder, we've been waiting since 2016. We've been talking about this fight. It's 2020 next month. We don't want to see another situation where someone gets caught, and then we revisiting all of it. In the 1990s, the biggest fight that was never made was Lennox Lewis versus Riddick Bowe, because one guy refused to fight the other guy, and then they would sign to fight each other. Lennox Lewis was supposed to fight Riddick Bowe, and then Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall. That fight was canceled. One thing led to another, and the fight never happened. I don't want to see that again.
Well, if Tyson Fury's going to be the spoiler on that one.
Well, but you know what? Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua in England will set all types of records. We're talking about the 2 best British heavyweights since Lennox Lewis. That fight will do major business in England. So,
but would it be a good fight?
No, because I see Joshua winning a fight where he doesn't have any chances. Yeah, it'll be a boring fight. Yeah, Wilder Joshua, that'd be so much intrigue. And you'd be sitting on pins and needles watching this fight. Fans of both fighters would be like, damn.
Right.
Especially Joshua fans. Because as perfect as a fight he fights, he could always get caught with that right hand.
I know. That's the fight, man. People want to see it. They don't give a fuck. I don't think they even really care about Fury versus Wilder that much.
No, the fight everybody wants is just like the two biggest fights in boxing. Well, it's supposed to be Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford and Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. And both fights are in danger of not happening if things get in the way. I still haven't seen any pictures of Errol Spence. Terence Crawford
I know.
Terence Crawford fights next Saturday night. We'll be doing another fight recap next week, covering his fight against Mean Machine. I don't have a chance in the world unless I bring a shotgun in the ring. Fuck out of here.
Okay, so that's next week. So One Silver, man, we'll talk next week. Thanks everybody for listening. One Silver, have a great Sunday, man.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Talk to you next Friday night. We're doing our Christmas Logan Movies Review, greatest episode, Mr. Robot. And then Sunday, we come back with the recap of the latest bum of the month for Terence Crawford.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Peace.
Peace.